What's up, y'all? It's your girl Bella, and welcome to Bella Talks. Now, you guys might be familiar with the YouTube Bella Talks, but we decided to switch it up, get a little bit more space, get more intimate with you guys. But thank you guys for coming. On this show, we're really just going to be talking about empowerment, breaking stigmas, healing, and just being self-aware, becoming self-aware. So today is special. Am I yelling? Today is special because I have my best friend here. Jarrett, Bobo, which one you want? Jarrett, Bobo. Jarrett, Bobo Jones, everybody. Everybody give a clap.
Bobo Jones. Oh, you funny.
Cue the applause. Okay. Tell everybody about yourself, Jarrett.
Hello, I'm Bobo. I'm shit. I've been knowing her since high school. We go way back, sophomore year. I'm just a very chill, down to earth person. Sometimes I'll be a little extra.
He's an Aquarius moon, so y'all already know what that means.
Wow.
Detached.
I'm a Taurus sun though, so I'm grounded.
Ooh, even worse. Ooh. I'm just kidding. All my Tauruses, please don't kill me. Anyway, so for today, we are going to be talking about
toxic
relationships, which is something I feel like needs to be talked about more often. I know we hear about it, we see memes about it, we share them, but it's like, do we really practice what we read, or we just sharing it because it sounds good? Because we all know people who are still in toxic relationships, who entertain the toxic relationships, who romanticize the toxic relationships. We want to believe that we know what's best for ourselves. We want to know we know our self-worth, but honestly, deep down inside, you know what shows us what we really know? Patterns. Hello. So if you're repeating the same patterns, if you find yourself dating the same type of people, maybe it's time to take a step back and think like, okay, why do I keep attracting these manipulative, controlling people coming into my life? So we're going to talk about it. So we're going to start with talking about what a toxic relationship is, because let's figure out where some of you guys,
on the spectrum.
Right, where you guys are. So do you want to start off with?
Well, I like to keep everything simple. So to me, just a toxic relationship is anything that's contributing to like unhealthy learning, and it's prohibiting you from growing efficiently through life. So anything that's prohibiting you from doing that is toxic to me.
Facts. Yeah. I like to think the same. My thing is, like, when you feel drained and exhausted, when you feel like you're constantly being disrespected, you have to, like, teach this person, like, hey, this is how you're supposed to talk to me. This is how you're supposed to treat me. You're not supposed to be doing this to me. To me, that's toxic. Like, if you have to tell somebody how to show you basic human decency, how to not call you out your name, giving you time, not using you, cheating, all that stuff, you have to explain these things to people. Like, that's toxic to me. You shouldn't have to explain that to someone who actually values you, right? So let's see. So cheating, obviously, that's toxic. Why do we want to be with somebody who does not value not only me but themselves? You're cheating, exposing yourself to all these people. That's nasty. It is. Like, no. And then people who brag about, like, cheating with other people, like, that's not cute either. Like, you're no better than that. Another thing is controlling. Now, I feel like, in this sense, like, a lot of people have, and I'm not trying to, make an excuse for. I'm just saying a lot of people tend to be controlling because they feel like that's the only thing they have control of. Doesn't make it right at all. So when you find yourself in a relationship, what?
When you say that's the only thing they have control of, you talking about the relationship?
No, like in the sense of like maybe growing up, they didn't have control over like when they got to do things, hanging out with friends, or being able to communicate things. Like maybe they were told like, no, you can't communicate this. This is how you dress. This is how you do that. So when they get older in relationships, they find that they find themselves controlling the other person to like feel like, okay, finally, for once, I can like help somebody be a way that I know will be best for them in a sense. Like I said, it doesn't make it okay, but like
It's the mitigating factor that led to that.
That led to that, right? But it does not make it right. Controlling is not okay. You shouldn't want to control anybody. You should only want to control your life and the things that are happening in your life. So that to me is like someone controlling how you dress, where you go. Like if you feel like anybody you're dating doesn't align with your apparel or your style or anything, you shouldn't want to control them.
What about the people who wants to be controlled or want somebody to be assertive or want somebody to take charge? Because those type of things what leads to being in a controlling relationship. You're putting yourself out there to be a prime target for controlling individuals by wanting people to be assertive. So you are easy prey for narcissists. Oh, you want to assert? I got you.
Right.
So it's like at the same time where you shouldn't be controlling people, but at the same time some people long for that. And you have to get into the understanding of why people long for people to be so assertive and controlling them about their everyday lives.
Right. But this is why we're having this show today, because we want to help those understand that you may feel like being in a relationship with a man or a woman who is controlling makes you feel like you have some sort of foundation. Maybe you feel more organized. Maybe you feel more secure having somebody who just leads the way. But just know there's a difference between having somebody in your life who is a leader, who has your best interest, who respects you, who values you, and then somebody who literally just wants to control you because it makes them feel good. Like being able to say, you can't do that. This is how you dress. This is what you're supposed to do. Be here at 9. Respond to my text messages. Respond to my calls. That's not okay. It's not. And the moment you start realizing that, think about when you hear it initially, you think like who they talking to, but you do it anyway because like it's that trauma-based thinking that is controlling the aspect of self-awareness, having some sort of self-awareness, you know?
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I can even give an example of
Okay.
my toxic behavior in terms of controlling, right?
Okay.
So, and like you said, it's a trauma response. So I remember.
It's very mature of you.
Nah, but it was one time when I was in my relationship. My partner, we had plans for the whole day. Mm-hmm. And my partner went out early in the morning with some friends, and they came. When I met up with my partner, she was drunk. Oh. And I'm like, I was so blue because I'm like, we got plans the rest of the day. You lit off your ass. It's right. Like how we finna like function throughout the day and everything. So because of my past traumas of my father being an addict, and my whole fear around the whole thing with drugs and alcohol, because as you know, I ain't doing a lot of that stuff until I was super old. Yeah. So because of my fear around that, and because at the time, I think she was 20 or 21, I forget. I was like, yeah, you can't drink for like 3 months, so I know you don't got a problem. And and that was me projecting my insecurities, my past trauma on her, and things like that. So I can definitely understand and empathize how people are developing these trauma responses, but at the same time, it's like you have to do that internal work to like heal from that, to move past that. Yeah. And it's hard to do that while you're in the situation. It's hard to do anything while you're in the midst of it. Like when you're in the midst of the storm, it's hard to really understand what you're supposed to do, understand that you are repeating these cycles, like because like you're just focusing on, well, I hope you're just focused on surviving it, right? Because if you put all your efforts into surviving it, then once you get past that, then you can look back and reflect and see, damn, I did this. Damn, this is the same situation I was in 3 years ago. Right. And that's when I think the maturity you was talking about, the maturity comes from when you actually start to analyze your mistakes and learn from it and grow from it versus repeating the same cycle over and over again.
Facts. Woo.
Big facts.
Big facts. Okay, shit. You heard it. So, okay, we listed some things that are toxic behaviors. Any other traits or things you can think of?
Even people can look at things as like too much quality time is it can become toxic. Like you become too clingy, right? It's like, in the stage of relationship, the honeymoon phase, you want to spend all that time with the partner, but now we are in, it's like now we can't be separated. Like now it's not us living two separate lives, combining our lives together. We're just living one life, but it's one life like out of force instead of just like us blending in together. So even when you talk about toxic, yes, it's the negative traits, but too much of anything is bad.
Okay, so you're saying it could become toxic just because, like, you guys haven't had your own sense of identity where you can separate and do your own thing. It's like, no, like, I'm upset because we're not spending all of our time together.
Yeah, you form an unhealthy attachment.
Right. Codependency.
Yeah, facts.
Okay. All right. I see it. I see it. All right, so we talked about a couple traits.
I see it.
I see it.
I see. No, it's just like
I-A-E-I-O-U.
You been practicing that?
First of all, don't hate.
The first note sounded good. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, you hear the vocals?
Decent.
Okay, focus.
First note.
Focus on me. Okay, seriously, last time, I'm for real.
That's the jam, though.
It is. Toxic relationships. So, moving forward, what we're going to talk about mainly is like how these toxic relationships are continued. Like, how do they form? And I am a true believer that toxic relationships, they begin to form in your household. So if you grow up in a household and your parents aren't showing you, hey, when a guy does this, that's unhealthy. When a guy does this, that's healthy. When a man values you, you know, or at the same time, like, practice self-love, knowing your worth, know who you are, and then you will align yourself with a man who knows his worth, knows his value as well, who practice self-love as well. And when you meet this man, this is how you may feel, things like that. It's just a lot of toxicity because a lot of our parents weren't taught that either. So it's like just a continuous pattern of, you know, one parent households or toxic families, people not holding themselves accountable, nobody explaining the examples of a healthy relationships. We look at our grandparents and we're like, oh, okay, but there's not a direct example from the people who raised us, the people who have birthed us, showing us. So then when we get older, go ahead.
It's not a direct example of the lived experience.
Right.
Just like when you were talking about like toxic relationship forming, but the reality, like in the household, it's like that's when we learn those toxic behavior traits.
Right.
And that's how we rationalize it in terms of people who grew up in households that are abusive. Mm-hmm. A lot of men seeing fathers or uncles or brothers being abusive and talking abusively to women is like, as a kid, you see the anger, you know, they recognize emotional cues quick, so they see all the negative traits, but at the same time, growing up in that environment, it would teach you how to rationalize it. So therefore, when you go out and do the behavior, it's justified.
You're like, oh, I've seen this before. It's normal. You just got to get through this rough patch and keep going and move forward.
Exactly. And to the other point you were saying, of how like we don't see enough, and it's like even if you do come from, you know, a healthy environment, a healthy household, have good positive reinforcement, things like that, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to have positive relationships, because at the end of the day, it comes down to influence too. Mm-hmm. Because back in our day, of course, like, back in our day, I'm old as hell.
Back in my day.
But back when we was kids, like, I think our parents had a direct influence on how we was brought up and things like that, and how we was conditioned and all that type of stuff, for good and bad. Mm-hmm. But I think more so now is different because of social media.
Yeah.
So now you have literally the internet raising kids, and the kids are abandoning their foundation of thinking, their foundation of training on good and bad from home based off social media. Mm-hmm. So it's a good thing when you have the from a person who's in a negative environment, you have the positive coming in, but you also a bad thing when you have somebody that's in a positive environment, a strict environment, a disciplined environment. Now you have these things, these negative things coming in that you see as something fitting and something inspiring or something exciting that you just want to do.
Right.
And that's like the whole generation. Like, not everybody want to be like Chief Keef. You got kids in Beverly, you got kids all over the world that never had to live the lifestyle, never been in those type of situations, but those are the type of things they long for now because it's an exciting lifestyle.
Right.
So it's like it all depends on the influence. So it's not even just about the household nowadays. It's more so who has the greater influence over that person within a certain amount of space.
Yeah, I understand that. I just think that, like, when I say like the household, I'm saying like
Mother, father.
That direct.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
And the constant repeating of it every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
that cycle, yeah.
Right, it's like I always say, like, you spend majority of your lifetime hearing, you stupid, you stupid, you stupid. You get older, think, damn, am I stupid?
Oh, God.
You know, like, am I stupid? But you hear somebody telling you every day when you wake up, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're worthy, you know all these things every day. When you get older and you come in contact with people who, you know, show you, like, the love isn't, what's the word? The love seems like draining or it's toxic. You start to think like, this isn't the love I was shown growing up. Like, why would I accept this? You may question it. Anybody else has to go through things, learn things. But ultimately, it's like you have more of a guaranteed feeling of knowing, like, I don't understand that love language. I don't understand what you're saying because I'm so used to hearing positive affirmations in my life. Opposed to, if you hear, it's like being in I'll give you an example. Like, growing up, like, I didn't feel like I always got the positive reinforcement of, like, my talents, right? So because I didn't hear that, like, the things that I felt like I should have heard, or things that would have helped me just become more secure within myself as a child and then growing into an adult, when I get in relationships and I'm working on these projects and I'm showing my partner and they're not giving me the, you know, the feedback I want, I downplay myself again. It's like, well, I guess I'm not talented because my partner is not excited about it. This. And it's like I'm getting the same, you know, it's like you have more of a chance of downplaying yourself exactly how you did as a child because of what you receive, opposed to feeling confident as a child and getting older and showing somebody stuff and not getting affected by it. Because it's like, oh, it's cool, you know. I feel more affirmed within myself because I've heard more positive things than negative.
No,
if that makes
I agree
sense.
with that. Yeah, I don't really believe in, like, whooping kids. Like,
I don't like hitting kids. Shit period. I think about it like you need your ass beat, but I personally,
because, like, I do subscribe to the belief of, like, teaching through positive regard, right? So everything I try to do is, like, even when I display on my little cousins or anybody accountable, it's like it's through, like, positive reinforcement, like, and basically I just ask them questions about said behavior because at the end of the day, well, if they're around me, they have a decent understanding of, like, right from wrong.
Right.
So if my little cousin, like, tweaking doing something, I'm like, why you think I'm talking to you right now?
Right.
Because I did this. Do you think you should have done that? No. Why not? Because of this and this. What you gonna do next time? Next time I'm not gonna. That's how I do it to it. Like, I don't like to. Why the fuck is you? That's how I was raised. Mama just come in and spaz.
You get scared to even talk. You be like, nah, I can't tell him.
That's another thing I hate now. It's like, in terms of, like you were saying, in a relationship, everything starts in the household. I do agree with that, right? So even when you talk about, like, people that come from these positive environments and things like that. However, like, if you're not allowed to speak, if you're not allowed to voice your concerns or express your thoughts, when you come from that and still end up in a negative situation, you're still going to be, like, abused or manipulated or whatever, because you don't even have a voice, because you were never taught to use your voice. You don't have confidence or security in using your voice. So it's a lot of different, like, factors that weighs into, like, how people think and behave and shape their understanding.
But is it even a positive environment if you can't speak?
But it depends. So something like, okay, put it like this: if you come from a military household, like, ain't no talking back, period. But it's like,
but that's not a positive environment.
But it depends on the individual. A lot of people are sending their kids to military school and all that type of stuff, and, like, you don't have no say, so you have no freedom of expression and all that. You have to have a certain haircut, like, so it depends to the individual. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have purple hair right now. Like, I mean, blue. No, my bad. It's blue. Okay. Right? You have blue hair, but if you coming up in a very militant, like, you don't have the freedom to express yourself that way. So, but in another sense, people say, well, young black woman, young black man, they need that structure, they need that discipline. That's a good environment. But at the same time, if you're an artist, you this person that's free thinking, it might not be a good environment for you.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I look at everything. Of course, I have some type of judgment, but the nuances of things are very different, by case by case. That's why I try not to generalize a lot.
Yeah.
But it's
just like coming from just a place of, like, we know that's not a, you know what, maybe not, I won't say not positive, it's not a healthy, because it's not healthy to not be able to communicate.
Yeah, it's not fully healthy, for sure. Yeah.
So, yeah. I get it.
I get what you're saying, too.
All right, cool. So, shoot. Okay. Let's talk about our experiences in toxic relationships. And when you shit. Okay, I'm gonna go first. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys an example of like toxic relationships, accountability, and things like that. So, for me, I realized in my relationship I had a pattern of just dating certain types of men, a certain type of man, like people who really didn't have like a sense of a sense of self-awareness that they were being mistreated as well. So I felt like I had to be
mistreated by you.
No, mistreated in their home, like in their families and things. They will always tell me like, oh, like I don't feel like I can voice my opinions or stuff like that. So I felt like I had to be a healer. Like I had to help these men heal, which is another thing that women need to stop doing. We need to stop thinking we can heal men from, broken homes, from not being raised in a healthy environment or understanding themselves. That's not our job. That is their job. That. You what?
I challenge that.
I challenge that.
Okay,
why?
I'm not saying it's not a woman's job to do that. But if this is a person that you're in a partnership with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that's your partner and that's what you care about, we all have our growth area. We all have areas of growth. We all have our skill sets, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have more skill set or more balance in certain aspects, I do think you should lend that experience and that expertise to your partner, period.
Okay, but that's different. But that's a whole different thing than being like, oh, something's wrong with him, I gotta fix it. Oh, you need money all the time, I gotta give you that money. Oh, you need my car all the time, I gotta give you my car. Like, you think you could heal this man by giving him your all, your everything, and in return you think he's gonna, it's just like, you can't give all of yourself to somebody in return thinking like you're gonna feel worthy. Like, you need to feel worthy within yourself. I'm saying that was my problem. I knew it was toxic when there was no respect. Like, when there's no respect, if you're calling me out my name and then I feel like I gotta call you out your name because you're calling me out my name, that's toxic. Like, it shouldn't be a competition of who can disrespect who the most.
I don't do none
like,
of that.
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a competition in general. I felt like in a lot of my relationships it was a competition. Like, who can just do things the most, who can get on the other person's nerves the most, who can talk the most shit, who can be the most disrespectful.
It's just stressful just listening to
just it was okay. And a lot of things in my past relationships, I was able to think about is in toxic relationships, I'm not saying just minimize your experience. Do not minimize your experience. If you was mistreated, if you were abused, you were abused. I just know from my experience that I realized that some people, I was mirroring behavior. And I was allowing them to take me out my character. I don't blame them for the things that I've done. I hold myself accountable for the things that I've done in my relationships, whether it was yelling, screaming, stomping on toys when,
Toys? What type of toys? The fuck
stomping on toys that belong to them because I felt disrespected, called out my name, whatever the case was.
Hold on, what are you talking about? I need to get...
I'm not going into that, but whoever, they know who they are. They know what toys they have.
It can't be no toy.
Yes, toys.
I don't think you value whatever it was.
We ain't speaking...
It's probably a collectible. I don't think it's an actual toy.
Whatever.
Toy is the meaning of whatever you talk
whatever
about.
It's called. Collectible. I stepped on it. Okay?
Purposely?
On purpose.
Okay.
By accident. Okay? So, but I hold myself accountable. On purpose by accident because I felt bad afterwards. But what I've learned in my relationships is all my relationships, I'll be like, oh, they mistreated me. They cheated on me. They did this to me. And then I had to tell myself, okay, and they cheated the first time and I stayed.
Why?
Because I was afraid to change.
Okay.
I hold myself accountable for that. Like, if I knew somebody wasn't shit, but I stayed in the sense of, and this is just toxic relationship. Not talking about abusive relationships because that's a whole different situation. It's harder to just leave. There's a lot of fuckery and stuff that goes into that, mind games. But I'm talking about just toxic relationships in the sense of, like I said, patterns of disrespect, manipulation, cheating, using. I just learned that I had to build my self-worth. I had to learn who the F I was. Like, and stop thinking.
I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
I said we can't curse.
We can, but that's just me. Dang, can I do me?
I was just curious. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt the flow. Go ahead.
God, that's the third time. Y'all see that? Can y'all do like a shot of every time he cut me off? Can we do one of those?
Please do a shot of how that wasn't that deep.
Like da-da-da,
being
da-da-da,
super extra
da-da-da.
right now.
Anyways, I'm extra. I don't care. I'm
You
a double
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
She was gonna say that.
Y'all know about my astrology?
That's what toxic people say. This how I am.
First of all, I didn't say that. You know what? I'm done.
You gonna walk off your set? I'm just gonna say it like, oh,
no, real talk. I learned that I had to hold myself accountable. I had to learn my self-worth and get myself together. I had to unlearn some things like not having patience. A lot of stuff that I inherited from my ancestors, from parents, things like that I felt like was normal. Okay, like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay to rush people because you ready. It's not okay to just think everybody's supposed to do things on your time. It's not okay. It was a lot of things, a lot of reality checks, and I'm grateful for some experiences. It's unfortunate I had to experience some people, but I mean, I guess that's part of the journey, right?
Facts.
Meeting some people you wish when you saw them, you was like, no.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens sometimes.
No, everything got a reason.
No, everything. Your journey is
if
your
you ain't
journey.
found a reason behind it, you ain't doing enough searching yet.
Yeah.
Not saying everything is like okay to happen.
No,
but
true.
It's a reason behind it in terms of
it brings you to the moment you're supposed to be at.
Facts.
Yeah.
Builds paths and perspective. But if I'm diving into some of my toxic relationships, and not just in terms of
accountability.
Oh, I got accountability. Just do that. Toxic relationships, but not in terms of just romance, but just in terms of period. Mm-hmm. I feel like the way I was brought up is like, because you say the household was very unhealthy. Like I formed a lot of unhealthy relationships, and even unhealthy relationship within myself. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm definitely like, you know, team dark skin all day. But growing up, team dark skin was not it. I swear it was not it. It's like I got teased about it. Like I was made fun of. Like girls didn't find me attractive. Mm-mm. So it was crazy. It's like I grew up in the Chris Brown B2K era. Like I hated that shit. Like every girl wanted the light skinned niggas. Mm-hmm. But at the same token though, it's like my father, who's a womanizer, like that's how I thought of value of myself. It's like it's through like the more women I fucked, like the more of a man I am. So even though I'm ugly, I still fuck though. Like it was one of those things.
That's such a bad way to think.
It is, but based off the house, so I got that from the imagery of my father and the things I was exposed to. That it's just like the older man that was telling me this is how manhood is. Mm-hmm. So early on, like I formed a lot of different, very toxic ways of thinking and behaving. Even when it comes to like homophobia, sexist, all these type of things. So when I got to the point around like 1920, because I wasn't in a relationship all through high school. Mm-hmm. When I got to the point of 1920, that's when I started to try to recondition my mind and learn all these toxic traits and things like that. And that's when I got into a relationship. Mm-hmm. And in my head at this point, you know, I'm arrogant a little bit. I was like, I'm the perfect boyfriend. Like, I'm doing everything right. We're at the bed. It was like, oh, yeah, she fucked up. Because she got all these insecurities, all these traumas, and all this type of stuff. Mind you, I do too, but I just didn't. I was still closed off at the time. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do the work of healing the original wounds that I had or whatever. Mm-hmm. She didn't either. But the only thing is, like, I suppressed everything, and she, like, was outwardly open about everything. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I was a perfect person in the relationship, and like shorty was just out here wilding and toxic for like no reason. Mm-hmm. Hindsight, I do understand like all the things that went into her toxicity and how she was behaving. I do realize my toxicity in terms of the relationship, because one of the examples is like she used to project her insecurities on me. Like I ain't never cheated. Like I was never that guy Because like this is my first relationship too. So in my head, it's like, why would I be in a relationship with you if I just want to sleep with other women? Like I did that my whole life. I would just keep doing that. Right. But so now that I was in this relationship, and she had her past experience between like ex lovers, the way I feel like the way she was valued and like abandonment issues growing up and stuff like that. That she used to project those insecurities on me, saying like I'm cheating, I'm talking to this girl, we're out the bed. At the time I was working in education primarily women, so I was talking to women a lot. And people tell me I got a flirtatious like, what's it called, characteristics or whatever. I don't think so, because I talk to women the same way I talk to dudes, and I'm not flirting out with guys. I'm just funny, charismatic, or whatever. But I guess when I do it to like women, it's like considered flirting. But she was always projecting her insecurities on me, saying I'm cheating, things like that. So in my head, it's like, you tripping. Like I ain't doing shit, so I'm like, I don't gotta do shit about that. I don't. That's something for you to deal with. You know, that's your toxicness. Like you gotta fix that for yourself. But hindsight, I realized that like I had to do enough to make her feel secure. Like even though those were her insecurities, even though that she had all that past stuff, like me as a partner, right? I was supposed to recognize that, and I did recognize that. But I could have helped build around that. Kind of like what I was saying too early. Like, yeah, I didn't have to. It's not my job, and I didn't do that in that relationship. I didn't do. I'm like, you figure that shit about yourself. Right. But I could have do something to make you more secure. I could have been less communicative or whatever. I could have been very transparent. I could have just not waved you off every time you go on a tangent or whatever, because I knew for a fact that I was not doing anything, but I didn't do enough to secure you. Right. So, and that's just one aspect of like terms of the toxic relationships that I have. And I think one of the most toxic relationships that I have is like my OG. Yeah, another nigga with mommy issues. Yeah, but for sure, like that's really a toxic relationship, and it's crazy though, because like that's one of my strongest relationships. You're talking about like trauma bonds and things like that. Like I'm a mama's boy, but like we butt heads all the time, and she a Taurus too. So it's like
stubbornness. Well, it is what it is.
Exactly, and it's like, and then it's like I didn't have regular like conversations or disputes with my OG like growing up, especially she a single mom, and I was definitely a terrible kid. No, I wasn't terrible. I ain't gonna say
Don't say that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I was terrible, but I definitely was mischievous and didn't do everything I was supposed to do as a son or just as a young black male. At the same time, like when we get into it, like I would stand firmer, because at a certain point I started taking care of myself. Of course, she paid the bills, kept the roof over my head and all that type of stuff. But, as a kid, I'm young and dumb. It's like, I bought my own shoes. I bought my own clothes, my own school clothes. I don't ask you for no money no more. I'm working a little job, doing some other stuff on the side to get some bread or whatever. So in my head, I'm grown. I'm taking care of myself and all this. Right. I got all these not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands of dollars coming in, things like that. So when she like try to discipline me and hold me accountable, it's like, what? Like what you gonna take away my PlayStation 2 that I bought? Like what you gonna punish me? You never here. You always work or sleep. So how you gonna punish me? I'm an athlete, so I gotta go play sports. So it was like our relationship was really fractured, but that stemmed from her relationship with her mom. Right. So and for my mom, you met my mom. OG is a non-nurturing person. So I don't get hugs. I don't get told I loved you. I don't get told none of those things. Like feelings, like those feelings are like unheard of in my family. It's like, boy, get the fuck off me. What you hugging me for? Like, really? That's the reaction I get.
It's kind of uncomfortable too for you sometimes.
Because I'm an Aquarius moon, right? So we all know, like,
feelings.
Yes.
No, don't touch me.
So, but at the same time, I still feel deeply though. Right. Like I'm also, I'm empathic. So it's like I'm a very, nourishing, open person, and like that's who I was in terms of my base personality. But because nurture versus nature,
it wasn't nurtured
at the crib. Then the environment I grew up in, it's like, oh, I can't be like that. I can't be funny like I'm with you. When I'm out in the public, I gotta like mean mug. I gotta be serious and everything like that.
So they could try me or something like that.
Facts, and niggas stay trying me for some reason. I must have Goofy written across my forehead or something. But yeah, so it's like I had to develop like kind of like a what is it called, a Jekyll Hyde type of thing. It's like where when I'm with people I'm comfortable with, I could be emotional, I could be vulnerable, I could be la ha he he. But everybody else, I'm very closed off. I'm like emotionally inept. I intentionally close myself off and become numb. And I had to do that in order to survive. In order to do the things I did, in order to see the things I did, I have to like lose a part of my humanity in you since now all that came from the things I saw at the house. All that came from my mom not nourish me and things like that. If I'm crying, stop boy, stop whining. Why you acting like that? Well, I used to suck my thumb when I was a kid. So oh yeah, you sucking dick, who out the bim, all that, and like
that is horrible.
but that shit, that shit that they say. So it's like all those type of things shape my head. So that's what also made me hyper homophobic too, because I already suck my thumb. Everybody keeps saying I'm sucking my dick or I'm soft because I'm sucking dick because I'm soft. You know what I mean? We gonna bleep all that out. Cut that.
Don't bleep it. Don't cut it.
But because like they said all these things, I became self-conscious about it or whatever. So when anybody tried me, or anybody talk, and I was poor as hell, so anybody talk about me, your mama jokes, I was never the kid that fried. I'm the kid that I beat your ass. that was me.
Joke with me if you want, boy.
Because that toxic masculinity was then developed. Every time you try me, now I have to exert my manhood over you. And the only way I knew to do that is through violence, is to break it down your character and things like that. But all these like are different things that I learned within the household. Then in terms of the social norms too, in terms of like, male locker room talk and all that other type of stuff. So yeah. Toxic relationship, it's inevitable. Like you're gonna see it everywhere you go. You're gonna embody some of the qualities. Those are just that's just the world we live in today. The best thing we can do is, try to sit and analyze it and find out the root cause of it. Because a lot of times when you talk about cycles and things like that, people continue to do the cycle. It's this person, right? This person I'm dealing with, they like this. All right, boom, I'm done with this person. Now I'm on to this person. Boy, this person is just like this person. And who I to be, I'm gonna try. Oh, now I'm done with this person. Now I'm in this 4th, 5th, 6th relationship, and all these characters are the same. It's not because yes, those individual people are those people, but at the same time, you're attracting all those individual people because you have some unhealed wound or unhealed trauma that you haven't dealt with inside of you. So now those are the things you're attracting.
Right.
So my OG is super profound too. She said a lot of profound shit about her toxic guys. But she used to always say, the lesson going to repeat itself until lesson learned. So even as a kid, I always thought that if I find myself in the same situation over and over again, clearly it's something that I'm missing. It's a lesson in this. It's something connected in like. So when I see patterns of my toxic behaviors or patterns of other people, that's the only thing I think about. So. And that's what kind of helped me, like, try to abstain from toxic relationships.
Facts.
But the older you get, the more, you develop unhealthy traits. Like, I was never a jealous person until some bullshit that happened with somebody I was dealing with. I ain't have a hint of jealousy. Then that bullshit happened, you got me going through motherfucking phones and shit. I ain't never been like this.
But that's another check to be like, this is toxic, because I'm acting like how I don't act. That was another thing for me. I was just saying, like, I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not. I don't. I'm like, I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not a disrespectful person. Like, just off the bat. Like, if you hang
not off the bat.
But look, when I say off the bat, I'm just saying, like, when I'm hanging with my friends and stuff, like, we talk shit. That's different. But expected or threatened. If I don't feel safe in my body or in the environment that I'm in, and I feel like you're disrespecting me, the Chicago does come out of me. I feel like I have to stand up for myself. So if I feel like I'm in a relationship with somebody and I got to get disrespectful, I got to start saying, like, man, shut the fuck up. Who the fuck you think you talking to? Like, if I got to start talking like that, yeah, what?
Bro, that's just wild to me because, like, I'm a person, like, a woman tell me I'm finna leave. Like, I don't do, like, in a relationship, you see, I talk shit to you all day.
Right, but
but in a relationship, I'm no conflict. I can conversate about anything. I'm not finna argue with you. I'm not finna yell. Because that's the environment I grew up in. My old, like, that's all we did at this, like, yell, scream. It was nothing but conflict. So, like, and I got an anger problem too, but I do a lot of intentional inner work to, like, control my shit. So if I come to the point of yelling, raising my voice makes me angry. Unless I'm speaking about something I'm passionate about. But if I'm arguing with you and I'm raising my voice, I'm angry and I'm feeling spaz.
Yeah.
So if you come to me tweaking, it's like, I'm just going to look at you like,
should be the standing factor or anything. If you have abandonment issues, whatever, okay, like,
but that person
we can be, like I said, can we talk about this later? All right, we come back in 20 minutes. Okay, well, that made me feel like when you walked away, made me feel bad because I have abandonment issues. Okay, I understand that, but I had to walk away because in that moment, I felt like I would have said something I didn't mean. All right, cool. Well, how do we solve this? That is how a healthy relationship works. But because people are so used to toxic relationships, that stuff doesn't happen. Cursing, disrespecting, stuff getting thrown is normalized, and it shouldn't. So, yeah, whenever you find yourself getting out of your body, feeling like you have to be disrespectful because your partner is disrespectful, I'm just letting you know you don't have to do that.
Not at all. Please do not stop it.
And also, I want to note that for every woman who thinks being in a toxic relationship is lit,
they be like, that toxic dick different.
That toxic dick is different. And I just be like, oh, baby, wait till you get some healthy dick. Wait till you get some. Wait till you. Yo, you funny as hell. But wait till you start dating. Wait till you start building that self-love and you begin to date a person who actually values you, who actually is building towards a healthy foundation of relationship, who holds themselves accountable, who doesn't yell at you, who you don't have to walk on eggshells with, who listens to you and respects you just because you're a person and you're born with worth, not because, oh, you did something for me, I'm going to reward you. Here's some breadcrumbs. Here. Oh, you did that? Here you go. No, baby, trust me. You think toxic is lit?
People do love on barter systems. Woo. It's like, I love you based off what you trade for me. Like, yeah, exactly. And it was I ain't gonna say that. No, I'll say that. It's even one of the relationships. It's like, I realized why I love that person in that relationship so much was basically because that person gave me a lot of nourishing that I didn't get from my OG. Mm-hmm. So it really wasn't of the content of the character. It's just the fact that I found somebody who was willing to pour all into me, right? Mm-hmm. Then give me their all, and like, you know, because I'm a mama's boy, one of my love languages is acts of service and like do all these other things like that. So that's what kept me within a relationship, not really analyzing a person's character, where we mesh at or where we don't mesh at, and all the conflicts and things like that. It's like, hey, the person's crazy, but at least like I know they 100% into me.
Yeah, then that's
Even though that 100% kind of be extra at times, but it's like, hey, at least I got somebody that loves me this much to spaz. That's like how that.
That's a red flag. The moment you start saying, well, at least,
facts,
and now you are bringing that into your life. At least. That's what you're getting. At least. And baby, you deserve more everything.
You should have like the Mario theme.
Go on. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, so now we're going to just talk about real quick ways we can break these patterns. Ways we can unlearn staying in toxic relationships, whether it's with your family or with friends or in relationships. And one of them to me is unlearning patterns. When you start telling yourself, or you start to recognize, like, why do I keep attracting the same type of people? You have to start, is it codependency? Are you relying too much on this person and not being able to depend on yourself for things? Are you attracting the same type of disrespectful people who disrespect you, who put you on a pedestal, and then when you don't exceed their expectations, they ghost you, or they, you know what I'm saying? You have to start realizing that, okay, this person I can't tell you how many stories I've heard from women who told me, like, this man ghosted me. This is I've had all these men ghost me, and it's like, you have to start asking yourself, what is being said before this is happening? What is going on before this happens? Like you said, start analyzing yourself. It's so important to understand yourself and get to know yourself, because at the end of the day, the more you know yourself, the more you can say yes or no to whatever is coming into your life. Oh, that don't align with what I want. Next. Oh, this guy, he talks too much about himself. I said that when I wrote what I value in a man, he needs to be open-minded. He needs to be a listener, and just, it has to be a balance of give and take. He's just taking, and my cup is empty, and I need more tea, and he ain't giving it to me. Hey, that rhymed. It's the rapper in me. Anyways, so yeah. Unlearning patterns.
I was saying it went over my head.
Oh.
Get your Dougie head.
My Dougie. So unlearning patterns. Also holding yourself accountable. Accountability to me is like the easiest way to grow.
Facts. Hold on. Before this, the first step is always recognize the patterns.
Recognize the patterns. Analyze the patterns. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, if you're going to break it down into context, it's like chapter 1, recognizing patterns.
Recognize the patterns and do something about it. Because you can look at it and be like, oh, damn.
That's crazy.
I'm still
Damn, that shit crazy.
That shit crazy. All right, we back.
Yeah, man.
You know, so yeah, recognizing it and then unlearning it. Telling yourself,
demon,
okay.
Though.
You said what?
They'd be like, that shit crazy, but she a demon, though. So, you know, I already know what it is, bro.
Exactly. Demon.
Baby mama crazy, or this bitch gonna hit me with a car.
Exactly.
Damn, but you finna go talk to her?
Exactly, but you about to text her back. Hell yeah. Okay. Anyways. So, yes, valid point. Recognize it and do something about it. Second thing to me is, like I said, accountability. Accountability is the easiest way to grow. It's hard for a lot of us when we feel like we've been mistreated so long that we got to be right. Or some of us just think we know-it-alls. And we don't want to hear anybody telling us we did anything wrong because we feel like they're criticizing us. But it's not trying to say that everything that somebody says about you is right or correct. But it's always a learning opportunity to sit back and self-reflect and just be like, okay.
Not too much. Because then you could go into a trap, but like just enough. Because
just
you can't
enough.
Reflect on every bullshit.
No. I'm just saying like stuff that matters, like big things that matters that are big as far as like your life, your journey, and like your personality. Things that can help unlearn things that may not be your personality. I'm learning as I'm growing that some things aren't even me. It's shit I adapted to, like you said, to survive, to feel like I'm supposed to fit in.
But that I challenge that. Once you adapt that,
I challenge that, Bella.
I'm challenging, you know, the words, not the person.
Okay.
It's the because like put it like this, it's like when you're an alcoholic or you're a drug addict, right? The first thing you say, I am an addict, right? Not saying that you will always be that person, whatever, but that trait is still a part of you. You still have that addictive gene, right? If you're an abusive person or if I was a violent person, it's like, yeah, I don't consider myself a violent person anymore, but I do understand like that. That's still a part of me, even though I abstain from violence, even though I don't get, you know how I used to be, get super active and try to get, you know, physical with people, but it's like I still know I can still relapse at any moment. So saying like, oh, that's not me, I think it's like, it discredits you. It's not all of you, right? It's not the whole you, but it's still a part of you that you still have to be mindful of. And that goes back into the other job I had. They had this thing called ruthless self-examination, right? And that's when you have to look at yourself in the mirror and like, look at who you really are, not who Diamond think I am. Because Diamond, you know something about me, but you only know the things that I show you. You have to get naked with yourself and who you really are to yourself. I'm talking about the shit that nobody know you did, but the person that you was with.
Right.
Get your freedom nipple. But like you have to get like that ruthless with you and sit down and analyze. Why did I do this? What did this come up?
Yeah. Why the hell you get that man your number?
But that goes into like societal norms. If this nigga might attack me and all that other shit.
Okay. Well, do you have any ways to get out of toxic relationships? Unlearn breaking patterns, holding yourself accountable, building self-love.
For me, how I see, it's hard for me because I'm gonna keep it all the way 1,000. Like I'm a how can I say this? I like giving chances. I'm too understanding.
Okay, but do you hear yourself?
Yeah. That's I'm. This is me holding myself accountable. Like this is like the toxic trait that I'm talking about. So that's why I say it's hard for me to give like full advice on that because these are something that I'm still actively working on.
Okay, but you're saying you a way to get out of toxic relationships is to give chances?
Nah, bro.
So what are you saying?
You missed the first part I said. I say it's hard for me to say that because I still give so much understanding and things like that.
Okay, what would you say to your nieces? What would you say to your friends that you want to see prosper and flourish in healthy relationships? Lil Jarrett. If you was
Lil Jarrett,
come here, Jerry.
Nah, you funny.
If Lil Jarrett was right here and you got a chance to tell him like to give him a head start in healthy relationships so he doesn't end up in a toxic relationship, what would you say?
You got to secure self first at the end of the day. If you're not secure with self, if you haven't dealt I feel like before you get into like a real like relationship, you have to deal with a lot of your issues 1st. You have to like have that ruthless self examination. You have to come to terms with who you are and the things that you things that you've done and things that you portray and like what you actually want out of a relationship and why you want these things, right? Because a lot of times people want things in a relationship just because it's either like a trendy type of thing, right, or because it's like something that they really neglect. But like in a healthy perspective, like what do you want and why?
Right.
Like I want a man to take care of me. Why do you want that? Like what did that stem from? Not saying women shouldn't want that, but like or men shouldn't want that because you know, women want a man to take care of them. A man can want a woman to take care of them. It's like it depends on the person, right? But it's like, why do you want that though? Understand the why behind that actually, because it stems from something, right? So whether it's gender norms, society things, or your mama just been taking care of, like it stems from something. So you need to understand what it stems from to analyze that first to see.
So the base, learn the basis.
The basis of your
who you
fundamental
are.
Personality, who you are and why you are.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Like, if you don't know who you are, you don't know why you became the person you are, if you're not connected with yourself, if you don't even have a passion, I don't feel like a lot of people should get in a relationship until they connected to, like, their purpose.
I like that. I like that. I second that.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times, because, put it like this, I got into my relationship, right? And I got into my relationship on the cuff of me getting out like my toxic phase in terms of all that street shit and everything. And then that's me trying to reinvent myself and reinvent my life. Then I got into a relationship. Then as I grew as a person in my relationship, the relationship started to like get strenuous, right? So they had their things and now I'm starting to develop my own things. But I'm still, because her stuff started first, everything was her fault. I know it's fucked up. But in my head, everything was her fault because her started first. And then as I grow older, it's like, damn, I started to really connect with who I am as a person. I'm starting really to solidify my principles and my values and my morals in this world. And once I started to solidify that identity, even with all the other stuff that was going on, it's like now I see that our relationship was not going to work. Right. And then, I called it off. But at the same time, because as soon as I called it off, after 6 months of me basically like hoeing and doing whatever the fuck I want to do, because that's the way I cope as a man, right? Because technically I'm still unhealthy at this point. Well, we are still unhealthy. But I'm still doing all these type of things. Then I try to get back into it, right? Because now I'm fiending over the nourishing that I don't have anymore. Yeah, the sex and all this attention is cool, but what I really craved for was that nourishing. So now, even though I broke it off because I was solidifying stuff, but now I'm going back on who I wanted to be because of the things that I like now instead of really fully connected with myself. So it's a forever ongoing process. But I would tell Lil Jarrett, Lil Bobo, but all the little folks, just to connect with yourself, understand who you are and why you are.
Period. Poo.
So,
what'd you say? Period.
Poo.
Period. No, I don't say poo. I just say period. So, for all my people out there, if you are currently in a relationship and you're just thinking like you're crying in the bathroom, you thinking like, why is this person always belittling me? Why is this person always down talking me, cursing me out, calling me a B, and just complete disrespect? I'm letting you know this right now, men and women. You deserve everything and more. You deserve to feel confident and secure within yourself, and you deserve a person who is also confident, secure within themselves, and who loves you and values you, and you guys can build together health in a healthy way. Like, it's lit. I'm telling y'all, it is lit. Don't let social media fool you. Toxic relation. Social media will have you thinking like, oh, toxic. I'm toxic and ha 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 ha. Which is, it's cool. Whatever. Talk amongst your friends about it and all that stuff. But in reality, at the end of the day, when you having kids and you starting to see your kids act crazy, like, whoever you dating or whoever you're with or had a child with, and you thinking like, oh, I wish my child wasn't acting like this person, it's just not funny. It's not funny because at the end of the day, this can seep into another person's life, and then they have to go through their journey having to unlearn a whole bunch of bullshit that they could have avoided if you just would have sat your ass down and thought to yourself, I'm worthy of anything I desire. I'm worthy of feeling good, being happy, being with somebody should feel easy. It should feel easy to be happy. It should feel easy to communicate. It should not be hard work. I don't think relationships are hard work. I think you have challenges, but I don't think it's hard work. Like, you shouldn't be drained at the end of the day. Like, oh my God, like, God, this relationship is hard work. Like, no.
I don't know. I think it should be strenuous work where, like, you know, it talks about it is all work. Like,
I don't think it's hard work.
I think, see?
My nose ring came out.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say that. But,
I don't think relationships are hard work.
I'm not saying it's like hard work as like, it's like working at the fucking steel mill, like hard work, but like you have to put work into it. You have to like bust your ass to make a relationship work.
Not to bust your ass. This is what I'm saying. Like,
listen,
society programs us to think.
Let me finish my thought. All right, I'm saying, like, to understand a person, it's not easy. Like, relationship is just not the foundation of love. All right, as soon as y'all love each other, that's enough. No, hard work is intentionally understanding a person. That's hard as fuck to do. To understand why a person become they are and all this and accept all these like little quirks about them, like, you have to be intentional about that. I gotta learn how to talk to you when your moves are happening and things like that. Like,
let's look up the definition of hard.
Oh my God!
Because I just don't think
that's easy to do.
Challenge is different from being
challenge hard. Potato.
Ain't no
Trump,
potato,
Biden.
Potato. No. So look. So, hard says, done with a great deal of force or strength. You don't have to force a healthy relationship.
You got to be strong, though. Force or strength. Not and strength, or.
Okay. I'm just going to say, this is from my experience.
Facts.
I'm just saying that from what I've experienced, it is not hard, because the moment you tell yourself and make a choice, and that's the thing, life is about choices, so you have to choose that you want more and better for yourself. So if you decide, like, actually I'm cool with chilling and not getting to know myself, I'm cool with not doing all that, not growing, that's your decision. You deal with the results. But if you choose that, you know what, I want to become a better person, I want to bring better things into my life, and in order for me to do that, I have to be intentional with myself. The hard work is with yourself.
Motherfucker, it's still hard work.
It's not with another person, I don't think. I think it only becomes
hard work is not a negative term, bro. Look, I didn't
say it was negative.
But you're treating like it's negative by saying.
I'm treating it like it is.
You're treating, in my perspective, you're treating it like it's negative by saying relationship isn't hard work. I'm going to use this as an example, right?
You see, we could argue about this all day. Just because I said from my experience.
No, but I'm not.
Your experience could be different because you doing different. Your journey is different from mine. So yeah, it may be harder for you because you may experience completely different things that I experience.
I'm not necessarily challenging you in this thing.
I feel challenged.
Okay, but I'm not really challenging you. I just want to give your viewers duality. Why are you triggered?
I'm triggered, G, because it's like,
I'm not trying to minimize what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I felt like whenever I feel good about something, it's always somebody with this limiting mindset. Like, no, that's not possible. It is hard work.
Yeah, I'm not really. We just have a share of different perspectives.
Absolutely.
I'm not limiting my mind. I'm just sitting here saying that, like, in my perspective, right? Like, I understand respect, but in my perspective, right? Hard work is not something that's looked at negative. It's like, if you're a content creator, right? You sit, you create content, you make videos, you edit your videos, you shoot your videos, you do all these types of schedulings. That shit is not easy. That's hard. That's hard work to make yourself a good ambassador for whatever topic you're talking about, right?
For other people.
Yeah, or your work or your arts or your crafts or whatever,
but
right?
It's not hard for me.
Okay.
I was born into it. God gave me these gifts.
Okay, you're right.
So it flows. It comes easy to me. Somebody else who wasn't born with that gift, it may be hard because that's not their gift.
Okay, we're not gonna use you, but just
okay, we're not gonna use you.
You're not, but just for sake of argument, like putting work into things and then working hard for some things, like that doesn't necessarily mean like you're doing the most of that is negative. Like, to me, in a relationship, like, it's hard work. As for me, like, to understand.
Because you stubborn as fuck,
bro.
It's gonna be hard for you when somebody is so stubborn that literally they have to go through stuff in order to learn so much stuff. Yeah, shit gonna be hard. Stop being stubborn. No, free yourself from being stubborn.
That's your perspective.
Okay. This show could be called Perspectives.
That's my show.
Oh, really?
Nah, Perspective Tuesday. Remember that?
Perspective Tuesday. Okay, well, we're going to wrap this up, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to Bella Talks. We're going to be coming at you. Not we. Me and, I sound crazy as hell, don't I?
Fuck you too, then.
We, not me.
Not we. He ain't having his ass back.
No, we're going to have him back because, you know, as y'all can see, Jarrett is a very intelligent black man. I love Jarrett because, like, he is himself no matter what. He's going to say how he feels. He don't care who in the room. He don't care. I look up to Jarrett because he has stayed true to himself. He hasn't morphed himself to be anybody else. He has his own perspective. Perspective Tuesdays. He may bring that back. Check it out. His Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Big Facts.
Big Facts. It's BIIG, right?
Shit, I don't even
He spelled his name like he's still on MySpace. BIIG FACTZ Facts.
What the fuck? I think it's BI. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go to the receipts.
You like that dude? Let me get
I don't be knowing. I'm not a social media person.
Okay, well, while he's doing that, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. We'll come back every 2 weeks with an episode. Make sure y'all follow me, Red Bella Ninja. Red, the color red, Bella, BELA Ninja. Woo-woo. And then follow you at what?
Big Facts, BIIG Facts with a Z. There you go.
Immature. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Much
Red
love.
Bella Ninja is mature?
Yeah, because I'm incognito.
Boy, get your goofy ass out of here.
All right. Peace out. Deuces.